Looks like we have some seats still on up here. Y'all want to come on up? Unless you want to stand for 45 minutes. Yikes. Sure, a seat would be nice. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Hi everyone, my name is Grace Day, Coordinator of Academic Programs here in the Office of Academic and Advising Services. I hope you all are super excited for first year registration this year. You get to pick your own classes, that's exciting. So today we're going to talk about kind of the advising and the registration process. The registration process at Mercer is a little bit more complicated than at other institutions because we make our own system, so go Bears. So here we're going to walk through, so today we're going to walk through everything you're going to need to make sure you do before you register for classes. So, once my PowerPoint starts to work. All right, so in this session, we're going to talk about your four-year plans. We're going to talk about the advising process. We're going to talk about the registration timeline, because not all of you will register on the same day. We're going to talk about how to check and remove your holds, because that's going to be the most important thing. And then we're going to talk about the actual physical how-to step-by-step registration process. So how to search for your courses, how to move through that process as quickly as possible so you can get your best chance at success with your first pick of classes, as well as some tips and then some resources that will be available for you on registration day. So, four-year plans. By show of hands, who has already made their four-year plan in UNB 101? Excellent. For those of you who have not done that, I highly recommend that you start thinking about that. If you do not have a four-year plan, it's going to make registration for every semester so much harder because you're going to have to search through your catalog, try and figure out what classes you need to take, try to figure out what extracurriculars are going to be there, like what space you have on those gen eds. And if you're not careful, you want to make sure you graduate on time. So if you have a four-year plan, you can kind of plan out every semester what prereqs you have to take for your next course. Maybe this is the semester I'm going to study abroad, so this is what I'm going to knock out this semester. Like, that's what I'm going to knock out these, whatever. Where's my book? I lost my book. So if you don't have your physical catalog, come see our office and we will give you a physical catalog. You need the catalog for this year, the 2022 to 2023 year. It is also online, but you should have received it through your UNB 101 classroom. That's going to be the most important thing you have in your 4 years here. Do not lose it. It includes all of the requirements that you are held to. Spoiler alert, the requirements that you all are held to are different than the people that are a year ahead of you or the people that are going to be a year behind you. So that is the book, and those are the things that you are held to. So if you don't have that book and you're not keeping track of that kind of stuff, we currently don't have a degree audit system. So the last thing I want for you all to find out 3.5 years down the road is that you can't graduate because you didn't fulfill a requirement that's in your catalog that you did not see or plan to take. So make sure you have done that. Also, you're going to want to plan to take around 15 to 17 classes per semester. This could look like covering your general education requirements, any major or minor requirements. If you're on one of those pre-professional tracks, like I'm looking at my pre-med folks, I'm looking at my pre-nursing folks, you're going to make sure you're knocking out all of those requirements for those schools that you are trying to apply for to move on after this. Because some of them require that, for example, like Mercer Med Special Considerations Program requires that you have fulfilled all of the pre-medical track prerequisites before you can even apply to medical school. And if you don't know what those prerequisites are, you need to be able to know that and look at that and plan for that. So when building your four-year plan, this is my recommended method. I will also tell you that building a four-year plan is not fun for the first hour and a half. But once it's done, you will thank yourself later. It's an hour and a half that will save you so much heartache. So the thing you need to go in is start by considering the classes you are already taking this semester. Mark off on your gen ed checklist, mark off on your major and minor checklist what classes you have already taken and or classes you have transferred in through dual enrollment or IB or classes that you took at another institution. Then you need to go in and fill out where all of your major requirements are going to be. So my biology folks, you have to take chemistry before you can take biology. You have to take Bio 212. You have to get a C in that before you can start genetics and start all of the other classes. You need to plan out when you're going to take those courses so that you're not trying to take classes in a semester and on an out of order time frame, because that's not fun. You're also going to want to think about your additional depth of requirement, folks. This is for our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences friends. So the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences has an additional depth of understanding requirement. Boiled down, this just means you need to have an additional major or minor to pair with what you're already majoring in. Now, some majors will exempt the additional depth of understanding requirement, but that is laid out where? The catalog. So, if you look at your catalog and it says successful completion of this major fulfills the additional depth of understanding requirement, then you're good. You don't need to plan for that. But you have 120 credit hours that you need to achieve a bachelor's degree. So start thinking about if there's anything you want to learn about. A minor is usually about 15 credits. That's about 5 classes. You can certainly smash in anywhere in 8 semesters. So start thinking about that. Also think about any electives that you might want to take or anything that might be interesting to you. Also, if there are any major experiences that you're going to need to build in during your semester time. So if you're going to do a full internship your junior or senior year, maybe you don't want to take the hardest classes for your major at the same time because you're going to be a little preoccupied and a little busy with your internship. So start planning all of that stuff. The same thing is if you want to study abroad, if you want to do a Mercer on Mission. Mercer on Mission very commonly covers INT 201, INT 301. You can also take those classes this semester, but Mercer on Mission, there are a lot of those that cover those. So if you wanted to save that class, so you're not paying to take that class twice, so you can Mercer on Mission. Something to think about. And then the last thing that I'm going to tell you multiple times is that you are allowed to change your mind and you're allowed to change your academic plan. The first time you make a 4-year plan, it's really frustrating. Once you do it, if you decide to change your mind and you're like, oh, I don't actually want to major in criminal justice, I'd like to major in psychology, it's a lot easier to do it again once you've done it the first time. So put the effort into the first time building your 4-year plan. I promise you, you'll thank yourself later. So next, let's talk about the academic advising process. So before your advising date, before your registration date, you need to set up an academic advising appointment with your UNB 101 instructor / your academic advisor. So your academic advisor should have already sent out information on what their advising process will look like, because advising opened up on October 17th. So if you do not have an advising appointment either in the books or you've already had it, you're behind. So you need to set that today. You need to contact them and you need to figure out how you need to do that. You will have an advising hold on your account that you cannot register for classes until you meet with your academic advisor and they lift that hold. But here's what you need to do before you go to that academic advising appointment. You need to bring with you 2 to 3 pre-built workable schedules, because we are no longer building your schedules for you. Your advisor's job is to advise you, not to build those classes. So you need to go into the real-time schedule of classes and look at, okay, I want to take this class at this time. Write that down. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Write out what you want your perfect week to look like, and then make a plan B, and then make a plan C, and make a plan D. I also do not recommend having the same classes in all of your plans. So if you have one chemistry class here, don't use that same chemistry class and build it around your second rate plan. So have multiple options with multiple sections of things ready to go. Because I will tell you this now, as first years, you are the last group to register. Classes are going to be full. Do not put yourself in a situation where you get desperate and just put yourself on wait lists or put yourself into classes and then you're aren't registered full-time, which affects your scholarship and your financial aid, or you put yourself in a class that you're like, I don't even know that I need to take this class. Don't do that to yourself. Plan ahead. Also, before you go into your academic advising appointment, you need to bring a list of any and all questions that you have. You're going to want to write them down, and I know, because I used to be like this, where I was like, oh no, I'll just remember when I'm in there. You won't. You'll forget, you'll start talking, and then you'll walk out and you'll be like, oh, wait, what? And then going back and asking when you could have just written it down and gone in with your list of questions. So then after your academic advising appointment, once you've gone through, they've approved your schedule, they've lifted your hold, keep an eye on the real-time schedule of classes through the registration days. They will tell you how many seats are left in a certain section. So if you need to make another plan while you're waiting for your registration time, once again, that is the time to do it. So Spanish 111, that's going to fill up really quickly. So if you're planning to take Spanish 111, there are a couple of sections. You need to plan to take that, but you need to keep an eye on that date and time. Same thing's going to happen for all of our psychology courses. Those tend to fill up relatively quickly. Environmental biology fills up really quickly. So if you're planning to take those classes, keep an eye on how many numbers are in each section. And that's on the registrar's website. So it's registrar.mercer.edu, and then on the left side, under that little drop-down menu, you see Macon, and then class schedules, and then it's this little link that says real-time schedule of classes. And you can use that to search by any number of things. You can search by professor, you can search by department, you can search by day of the week. So use that and keep an eye on what is going on. But here are some things to consider when you're in your academic advising appointment. Number one, your current degree plan. So do you still want to major in what you came in wanting to major in? If you do, great. If you don't, let's talk about it. Has that changed? Because if you want to change that, it's easier to make that change now than it would be your senior year when you only have a couple semesters left and you got to knock out 30 hours. So start thinking about that now. Your advisor's also not going to be a mind reader, and they can't help you if you don't talk about it. So if you're just thinking about it, when you have that 30 minutes with them, you have their full attention, talk about it, ask about it. If you're in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, ask about that additional depth requirement. Talk about what you think would match well with your current major, what are you interested in? Maybe if there's a down the road professional plan that you have, like what do you think would match well with your major now to help you be in good shape for that? Can you start these classes in spring of 2023, or do you have to take any prereqs with that? Start thinking about that. Also, if you had to withdraw from a class this semester, which the withdrawal deadline is when? Today. If you need to withdraw from a class, you need to submit that withdrawal form in your MyMercer today. Do it before like 3 o'clock. Don't wait. Do it now. But if you had to withdraw from a class, that might put you off. Like, be like, okay, so I need to retake this class. When do I need to plan to retake this class? Do I need to think about summer classes? What do I need to do to try and stay on track? So think about that as well. And then finally, your advisor's been with you all semester. So they have seen you go through it. They have seen you have great days. They've seen you have horrible days. Ask them for feedback. This is like one of the only times you'll get honest face-to-face feedback. So you'll be like, what do you think what do you think is something that I would want to keep in mind for my next few semesters? Like, what are some things that I want to think about? What are some things that you think I could work on? So think about that as well. And then before you can even consider registering, you need to make sure that you have either paid your tuition bill or that you are on track with your payment plan. You need to make sure you have paid your parking tickets. Do not be able to register for classes because Merco put a parking ticket on your Nelnet account. You need to make sure you've checked your MyMercer to make sure you don't have any additional holds. Make sure you've submitted your final transcript to the registrar's office. You've submitted your immunization forms to student health. I'm trying to think of other common holds. Make sure you paid for your Bear Book bundle and or you opted out on time. And you need to make sure you met with your academic advisor and you got that hold lifted. And then you need to sign the Statement of Student Responsibilities. You will need to sign your Statement of Student Responsibilities every semester. So just, if you haven't signed it yet, make sure you do that. So this is what our registration timeline looks like. So our priority students are going to register on October 31st. Graduates and our seniors are going to register November 1st, juniors November 2nd, sophomores November 3rd, first years November 7th at 7:30 in the morning. And then open registration will start on November 14th. That's when like anyone who's coming in the fall or wants to take a class from another institution, that's when they can start registering. So first years, you should have already received an email from the registrar's office with your registration date and time. So pay attention to that. If you brought in Buku transfer credits and you are technically a sophomore by credit hours, you might not register on the 7th. You might register on the 3rd or the 2nd. Also will want to keep in mind that this status is determined by your credit hours previously earned. So if you will be a sophomore after this semester, unfortunately you will still need to register with the first years this semester. It's based off of how many credits you brought in already. Like I said, you should have already had that email from the registrar's office, so take a look at that. If you have any questions, contact our office of the registrar for that. The next thing you're going to want to do is make sure you check your account holds. These are in your My Mercer account. On the home page, in the bottom right-hand corner, there's your message center. If it says that you have a hold, you can click on it, and it'll tell you what the hold is and who you need to contact. Do that as soon as you can. Do not hold that back. If you have not submitted your immunization forms to Student Health, that takes like 3 to 5 business days to process. And they won't lift that hold until it's fully processed and lifted. So make sure you do that. If you haven't submitted your financial aid verification documents, or you're waiting on something with your FAFSA or work study, that can also prevent you from registering. So you're just going to want to make sure that you contact them and they get that lifted. Because once again, you cannot register until you have done all of these things and you are taken care of. So now let's walk through the actual registration process. So at your registration time, in your My Mercer account, in the top left, there will be an online registration thing under the Announcements tab. You'll click on the online registration link, and then it'll bring you to the portal. So this is how you open the portal, is you select your drop-down term for the semester you want to register for. That'll be for spring 23. If you want to do summer classes, you will register for summer classes next semester when you're also registering for your fall classes. So you register for spring in the fall, and you register for fall and summer in the spring. The registration portal won't even be visible to you until your registration time. So if your registration time is at 7:30 in the morning and you wake up and it's 7:27, it will still not be visible to you. So don't freak out. It will be there in 3 minutes, but you have to wait until that exact time and then it will open. So I recommend getting up a little early, making sure your computer works, making sure the Wi-Fi is working, making sure you have everything you need taken care of, and then just wait until your time. Once that registration time opens, you'll select that drop-down portal to spring of 2023, and then it'll open up this page. You'll select register in the bottom right-hand corner. And then you have 2 methods to go through the process. And so this is where having those pre-built schedules in mind is going to be really helpful. Because if you do, you can use our Quick Add function. You will get through it 10 times quicker. With the Quick Add function, you need to know the course number and you need to know the section numbers. And the section numbers are located in that real-time schedule of classes. So write that down. Oh, and in the other method, you just need to search for the course and then you'll get to pick the day and time, and it takes a lot longer. Using the Quick Add function, in the top box, you'll enter the course code. That includes the school and the department number, the school, the department, and then the course number, and then a period. Don't forget the period, because it also might be tricky. And in the bottom box, you also need to put the section number. The section numbers are going to look different depending on the department, because the departments assign the section numbers. So some it might be 002, some it just might be 02. Take note of that on the real-time schedule of classes. Once you find that class, you'll select Add, and then you just keep going through that. It'll take you back to this first screen right here, and there's like 2 tabs, and then you switch back over to Quick Add every time until you have every class in your cart that you want to register for. Once you have done that, you'll review your schedule, and then in this button right here, you'll select Register Drop. Now this is when you will find out that either this course is full and you need to go on a wait list, or the wait list is full and you can't register for it. So that is when you need to start thinking like, okay, like I can do this. Also, you cannot go on a wait list and register for another course that has a seat in it. So I recommend, do not put yourself on a wait list. Do not do it. There will be seats, there will be enough seats. They might not be the seats you want, but do not put yourself on a wait list unless you absolutely have to. Now, my pre-nursing folks, there are some classes that we have set aside specifically for you all. Like, for example, nutrition. So the cap on that class is set at 1 student, so 1 person can register, and then everyone else needs to put themselves on the wait list. Go ahead and put yourself on the wait list, because then Dr. Bokros, our pre-health advisor, will go through and let all the students who are coded as pre-nursing into that class next. But wait, there's more. At that point, you are not still registered. You need to go to the final stage, and it will tell you if you are registered or just scheduled. We ran into this a lot last semester, where we had students who thought they were done, but they were actually not registered for classes, and they just had classes in their cart, and they were not at full time, and then they didn't find out until like April, that they were not in the classes that they wanted for fall, or the classes they thought they were in for fall. So make sure you hit that thing and you go to this final page and pay attention to what you are registered for. Now here are the tips. Have multiple schedule options ready to go. Perfect. Know the section number. That's going to hold you up if you don't know what that is. Log into My Mercer at your assigned time. I recommend logging in a little bit earlier, like maybe 5-10 minutes before, just so you can feel comfortable. It's going to take a little bit to load because there are going to be a lot of you on the server at the same time. Don't refresh. That just puts you back in line in the queue, and just be patient. It's gonna be all right. Avoid wait lists if you can. If you have to put yourself on a wait list, and I'm thinking like you have no choice. You have to take this class, and there are only 2 sections offered, and they both have wait lists. Put yourself on the shortest one if you can. And do not miss class to register. Do not miss your current classes to register for your other classes. We will figure it out. do not miss class to register for classes. But the most important tip is that please do not panic. You'll be all right if you do put yourself on a wait list. We will help you. We will be here. A lot of people are going to be on the system at the same time. Another tip, don't use 2 computers. I've heard that trip from someone. They're like, just use 2 computers. No, that just puts a whole other computer on the server at the same time. It's going to slow other things down. Don't do that. You're going to be all right. You're going to be okay. There are going to be seats. We're going to make sure you take classes you need to take. And then we will also have resources with you on that day. So your peer advisor will be with you to help you register, to help you walk through all of that. Your advisor should also be on call if they're not going to be on campus. A lot of them will be on campus because I'm buying them breakfast if they're on campus. But if they're not, they should be on call and there to help you if you need. The IT help desk will be open at 7:15, so in case something happens, you can call them. They will be there to help. The University Registrar will also be there early. And then the Office of Academic and Advising Services. We will be here starting at 7 in the morning. So call our front line if you need anything. Now what we will not do is lift your advising hold. So if you log in, again, you have your advising hold and you call us, you say, my advising hold. Until your advisor calls me and says, oh yeah, like I met with Wesley. You can lift his advising hold. We will not be lifting your advising hold. You need to meet with your advisor and make sure you've taken care of that. Also, our official business hours will begin at 8:30 a.m. So you all have our sole attention from 7 to 8:30, but starting at 8:30, we have other students and other appointments that will be coming in at that time. So just please note that we will get back to you, but if you call us after that time, it might take a little bit longer. All right, any questions? All right, well, thank y'all so much. Go Bears. Good luck.